Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanim. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you could, please click that like button, turn it into a rocket, and send it straight into the stratosphere. So today we're going to talk about Algorand's potentiality as a central bank digital currency. It's one of the reasons that I'm very excited about Algorand. I mean, even though they're partnering already with over 500 different companies at this particular time of them posting how many companies they're working with and partnering with and leveraging on the Algorand.com website. So let's go here to Algorand.com /resources, and this is what it says. While Algorand's consensus protocol facilitates the spontaneous formation of trust in a new CBDC instrument by guaranteeing immediate settlement finality, Algorand is also uniquely positioned to empower strong CBDC implementations by providing central banks with full flexibility in CBDC governance and full control of the CBDC system. Now, let's move on. Algorand's proposed model leverages four main features to achieve the above properties. Number one is their Algorand Layer 1 smart contracts, which I believe have been updated multiple times at this particular period. The control functionalities of the Algorand Standard Assets, ASA. Number three, the hybrid two-tier architecture of the Algorand CBDC system. So now on the Algorand website, they have multiple documents that anyone can look up from Algorand.com, right? Multiple CBDC documents. There's some about the proper way to release a CBDC. Then there is another document on building a CBDC on the Algorand system. And there are multiple other documents that run parallel to those for the implementation of a central bank digital currency on Algorand, which is why I have been saying Algorand is also a banker's coin, or they would not be pushing it on their website so vehemently. Now, let's go here and we have a use case, okay? Now, this is for a national currency, right? Which is the equivalent of a central bank digital currency for the Marshall Islands, okay? So here's what it says. This is from Algorand.com /resources/news/Marshall Islands. It says, the government of the Marshall Islands will oversee the SOV and leverage the combination of Algorand's blockchain functionality and SFB Technologies' identity management and compliance platform. Okay, Kenneth Keaty, Speaker of the Marshallese Parliament, expressed, I am excited about the technological partnership with Algorand. With it, a strong alliance is forming to develop the SOV project. This is another milestone towards developing the Marshall Islands financial services industry. Okay, so they're already using Algorand as their national digital currency. Keep that in mind. We're going to be progressing here. I have a lot of tabs. I went very deep today for everyone here. I hope you enjoy all of this information I'm going to share. Okay, so now let's move here. This is another little tidbit of information that leans me towards believing that Algorand will be widely used or possibly considered or possibly used as a central bank digital currency in multiple places around the world. Okay, so it says here, this is from coinscribble.com /bank-of-America. All right. It says, well, it turns out that Barclays and ISDA, International Swaps and Derivatives Association, have just wrapped up their global hackathon. Can you guess who won the NYC contest? Yup, a team from Bank of America. Big money. Can you guess what platform they used to build their winning application? Why, it was Algorand, of course. They used Algorand. They built their winning application on Algorand, which means that Bank of America is privy in the understanding that Algorand is an efficient system that could be utilized by them. That is major. When Bank of America is considering making their own digital currency, right? Off of the blockchain, a very secure and speedy method of moving money here and there, also by saving a lot of money. So it is very cheap to run. And they already have a use case. They already have used Algorand. It would be logical to think that they would be open to utilizing Algorand as its official blockchain of choice. I believe that's just logical based on the data. Now, so let's move on from there. Let's click this tab here. This is from finance.yahoo.com. It says Hex Trust is integrating the Algorand blockchain into its fully licensed custody platform, Hex Safe, to support its native token Algo. The integration will also support Algorand-based assets such as central bank digital currencies. Central bank digital currencies. They're already preparing for it, which means they're in anticipation of it across the board. That means the price of Algo would raise. It would raise quite substantially, quite exponentially, parabolically. It would raise. Raise it all. It would raise. And you and I, holders of Algo, should you just decide to hold. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, but I'm going to be holding. But that would theoretically mean that you and I are future millionaires. If not millionaires, we're going to have hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on how much Algo you hold. You could even be a billionaire. Some of you hold so much Algo, you might even be a billionaire. Who knows? But this is what the data says. If it becomes a central bank digital currency, it is inevitable. Inevitable. Because the price must raise so that the functionality could be that much more efficient and stabilized. It must stabilize at a higher cost, a higher price. That way banks don't have to hold billions of Algo just for them to move currency here and there. It would make more sense to have the price high and have the friction level very high at that high price, where banks could only hold a certain amount of Algo, which henceforth would be more efficient than them buying all the Algo in the world just to move money here to there. No. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's continue on, okay? This is from Algorand.Foundation. As a part of the Chinese government's global blockchain strategy unveiled by President Xi Jinping in November 2019, the BSN initiative is a joint effort led by State Information Center of China, China Mobile, China Union Pay. Now, I questioned myself. I said, what is this Union Pay? It has pay in the name. Let's see. What is this system that is utilizing Algorand in China? And I looked up Union Pay. So let's scroll here, see if we can bring up this tab. Just give me one moment, please. Just one moment. What is Union Pay? I typed it into Google. Here's what it says. China Union Pay is a cashless payment method in China using a debit card or credit card. China Union Pay card holders must be Chinese nationals, and they can receive international payments sent directly to their card. We know that that is one of Algorand's specialties, cross-border payments. So we even have Algorand being utilized in China, okay? So China's state-backed BSN integrated with Algorand. Okay, I just want to cover that. I know we've spoke about this before long ago. Many of you are probably privy to this, but let's cover this because it plays all into the end game of what this video is going to be. It's going to be very, very interesting. Believe me, I have some goodies for you. September 15, 2020, BSN International announces today that it will be supporting 3 more public blockchains, including Algorand. Now, remember, the BSN is tied to what was it? The China Union Pay. How they're going to utilize that will be very, very interesting and something to watch over time to see if that will have a great impact on Algorand's price raising. Because if they're going to be moving different digital currencies through Algorand, as they have now utilized it, building upon the Algorand ledger, then the price is going to raise up. How significantly is something that is questionable. We'll just keep an eye on that. Let's continue on forward here. We're just building right now. Okay, now let's get to this. Muy linda, this information. Muy linda. The Boston Fed, as is more commonly known, announced earlier this month, Oh, by the way, this article is from CoinDesk.com, okay? The Boston Fed, as it's more commonly known, announced earlier this month it was actively testing a digital dollar, a tokenized version of the US dollar, with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Digital Currency Initiative. The collaboration builds on previous research efforts and is intended to establish how a digital dollar might complement the existing greenback, said Boston Fed Senior President Jim Cunha. Ultimately, the results will be published and potentially considered for an actual digital dollar through the latter part, though the latter part is still years away. They claim it's years away. But also, what we're going to get into right now is that the Fed, the federal government, the U.S. federal government is utilizing MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, to run the test on 30 to 40 blockchains as far as creating a central bank digital currency. Okay, now, what was the report that was recently put out by MIT? A very, very early report. There was a report put out on Algorand. On Algorand. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. And also, we're going to get into the information of when we should be hearing about a final report on the blockchains that have been tested. Remember, they said 30 to 40 blockchains they were testing. 30 to 40. I'm going to assume Algorand is in that top 5. Algorand, XLM, and XRP are up there. I think they're the best ones so far. They may have like Cello. I didn't even know 30 to 40 blockchains could run CBDCs. So that's something I need to look into also once I have that information on which others are there besides Algorand, XLM, XRP, and Cello. Then I will definitely make that information available to everybody on this channel. So make sure you subscribe to stay updated on that. Let's continue on. This is from theblockcrypto.com. And here we actually have an author's name for once. It is by Mike Orcutt. All right, here. Researchers at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology will unveil, so we're going to keep an eye on this, will unveil prototype central bank digital currency systems as early as July. So they're going to start releasing the data on all of these blockchains that they've tested and how well they have done. And that I'm going to look forward to, and will, if I can acquire that information, will be presenting that on this channel. So as early as July. So now we have a time period to look about. Of course, they don't have to stay strict to that timeline, but if they do, this will be a development to keep an eye on. All right. The researchers whose collaboration was announced in August 2020 have been developing prototypes for a digital dollar platform, according to Bloomberg. Let's continue on here. So here we went to Bloomberg. Of course, listen, I do research. This is what I do. Okay, so this is from Bloomberg.com/news, Bloomberg Business Week. As soon as July, officials at the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have been developing prototypes for a digital dollar platform. Plan to unveil their research, said James Cunha, who leads the project for the Boston Fed. A digital currency can fundamentally change the way Americans use money. So once again, we have an official site saying they're working on this, saying that they're going to be releasing this particular data. July is around that time period. They're testing 30 to 40 blockchains. For us to think that Algorand is not included would be silly, and I'm going to give you proof why that would be silly, because MIT has already run both preliminary and other tests on the Algorand system and released the paperwork. So let's continue on here. And here is the paperwork on one of their test runs of Algorand as a central bank digital currency, or as a, here we're at people.casil.mit.edu/Nikolai. Nikolai is Nikolai. Okay. Took a little bit to find this information. This is page 16, and this is section 12 of page 16, and it reads conclusion. And it says, Algorand is a new cryptocurrency that confirms transactions on the order of a minute with a negligible probability of forking. Algorand's design is based on a cryptographic sortition mechanism combined with the Byzantine agreement protocol. Algorand avoids targeted attacks as at chosen participants using participant replacement at every step. Experimental results with Algorand experimental results with the prototype of Algorand demonstrate that it achieves sub-minute latency and 125x throughput of Bitcoin and scales well to 500,000 users. Now, this was a test done, I'm going to assume, I'm not sure when this report was put out, but it was done some months back, I'm going to assume. It doesn't have a date attached to this paperwork, but they're running tests right now on the updated Algorand systems and will be releasing that data on all of the different blockchains that they're testing. Should Algorand be one of the systems that they're testing? I believe that it is. They will be releasing that data closer to July for the updated systems, okay? But there you have it. That's page 16, section 12. Now let's continue on here. This is from dci.mit.edu/building a hypothetical CBDC. The possibility of a central bank issued digital currency represents a unique opportunity to address challenges in our existing payment system and design an economy that is more resilient, participatory, and open. Before private sector innovation is possible, numerous economic and public policy questions will need to be addressed, and an extensive separate policy process is required. However, this cannot be done without understanding the limits of the technology, both existing and new. Our approach is to give policymakers the information about technology, right? Algorand, they need to update, they need to inform them of what the systems are capable of. What is this system capable of versus this one? Which one is better? What can we use? What's the most secure? What gives us the most control? Because they're worried about that as well. Control. This is why private ledgers are going to be a major aspect of central bank digital currencies. But what does all of that equal up to for us? If any of these central banks are utilizing Algorand, that price is going to go parabolic. Now, as I said in the Stellar video, what a lot of the banks are waiting for is regulatory clarity, not just from the SEC, but from FinCEN and a few other regulatory bodies before they fully start utilizing the system, because they don't want problems. That makes sense. This is logical to me. But once there is regulatory clarity, the banks can fully start utilizing systems like Algorand. And then that price, because they have to hold a certain amount of algo, because a certain amount of algo is utilized to cause friction, and the more you use, I'm going to assume there is surge pricing. I'm going to assume that priority is given for those who have bigger transaction fees, similar to the XLM ledger, right? All of these things are pretty parallel. So that means that the price of algo would go parabolic, giving billions and trillions of dollars moving through the system. There is enough money to go around for XLM, XRP, Algorand. And there was something interesting, I can't find the tab, but in one of these documents that I was reading from an Algorand, individual working at Algorand, it stated something as to where with interoperability, that they will be moving towards a global system as far as central bank digital currencies. And that makes a lot of sense to me, because if Algo can flow into XLM, XLM can flow into XRP, they're all just flowing together because of this seamless interoperability, then really it's just one system with just different names, which is why I keep saying there's enough money to go around. You don't have to be an XRP extremist. You don't have to be an XLM extremist. You don't have to be an Algo extremist. I hold all of them to get a piece of every single one of those pies, to make as much money as I can for my family. I'm not an extremist. So it will be like one world system, but they're just going by different names, because interoperability would make it a borderless economy. It would make it a borderless ocean where everything can just flow one into the other. That means there's enough money for Algorand to have itself utilized as central bank digital currency in a multitude of places, and still make millionaires, still make people hundreds of thousands of dollars. And Algorand could also be used, as it already has, as national digital currencies, as is being used in the Marshall Islands. So I'm going to keep you updated as more information comes out. We're going to continue to research. And now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you could, please click that like button, turn it into a rocket, and send it into the stratosphere. If Algorand is picked up as a central bank digital currency, there will be Algorand millionaires made. Notice, I only speak this way about coins that are banking coins. Algorand, banking coin. If you go to their website, there is so much information there on algorand.com about central bank digital currencies and how to set it up. You have to know that this is one of their aims. This is one of their goals, and they're well respected. And large institutions, corporations, and banks have run tests on it already. Algorand, XLM, XRP, banking coins stand to make the most parabolic runs if they get regulatory clarity and the systems are actually fully rolled out, because there's nothing holding them back now that they have regulatory clarity. If that happens, you will see the most parabolic run you have ever seen, and the money that will be made will be so enormous. So enormous. It will be mind-blowing. In hindsight will be 2020 for a lot of those people who were doubters. If everything goes according to plan, and so far the data points to everything flowing smooth, baby. So until next time, let's get to the money.